Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Power and the Punchline. This is where the power gets honest and the punchline actually means something. We talk leadership, culture, influence, and real life. No fluff, no filters. I'm Rudy Rush. Let's get powerful. Yo, Mick, this is something, and I'm surprised we're tackling this as early as we are. You know, people need to understand we do show prep. This is one thing that you do in radio. I've had some people who don't believe.
Yeah, and talking about is it, man? And so I thought that too. I- the highest percentage of interracial marriage.
You know what? I honestly feel because I'm well traveled. I see a
Yep,
lot of interracial because of what the climate is in the US, but
yep.
I absolutely internationally and in the US. Mhm.
42%. And these are facts. And for those who don't believe, there's actual numbers on this paper.
You know what? It makes perfect sense because there's reasons for it.
Yeah.
You know what the reason is. Places that can pass for Anglo-Saxons, can pass for white. They can actually, sometimes I've seen women and men without an accent, they look white to me. So I feel like that's something where you could be closely knitted, where you kind of look like your partner, like you guys look like you're from the same quote unquote tribe. So that would be more sense. It makes more sense.
Yeah. Shocking
You
number.
know? Yeah.
Shocking number. That is 42%, right? So the next percentage
That's
is
a big number, man.
15%. And again, stats to back it up. I'll send it to everybody that's watching if you don't believe me. The next percentage is 15%.
Uh-huh.
What are the two races that interracially marry 15% of the United States?
Man, 15%. I'm gonna have to go with my first.
15% of interracially married couples. Hey,
But
that's
so
number two.
listen, man. Yeah, and I got
And at number
so
three, I don't even know if they prove anything. But the stats show that we've got to think broader. We've got to look at big picture, and we can't always zero in because I think as society, we've always zeroed in on black and white.
I think because of the history of the country, but because of what's perpetuated in the news and TV shows and everything, it's always and it changed the whole dynamic of what I thought this conversation was going to be like when you put those numbers out there, honestly. Because when you said it to me, I'm thinking we're talking black and white and how people are perceived and how people go about it and talk about our own personal experiences with it. But to know that those numbers are so far away from where we are, like even with the 15%, people don't understand that's a lot. 5% is a lot more than 10%. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
15% is more than 10. And to have a 45%, that's unbelievable. Like that's almost every other, if not
Mhm.
every two people to one. You know what I mean? So that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to talk about it because, like I said, one of us is kind of expert in this field of interracial dating. I don't know if it's you, Rudy, but since I've been an expert, I've been a guru in this topic since I was 13 years old, bro. Um,
Wow. Yeah, you got me beat on that one.
since I was 13, and society's changed, society's evolved. We've come a long way, but in some aspects we haven't. But I think for the greater good, we can definitely say we're in a much better place than we were many, many years ago. And this episode isn't to talk down on people. It's just to have the conversation, right? The things that people maybe they don't want to talk about out loud or they don't talk about out loud, we're gonna talk about it. And my first question,
Mm,
I guess this is my third question to Rudy Rush now, but I have a real question that I know Rudy can answer because I know how
yeah.
Rudy's brain goes. So when we just heard that 42% of interracial marriages are Hispanic and white, or 15% are Asian and white, 10% black and white. I can talk through the 10% because that's where I live. I want to know from Rudy, do you think Hispanic and white have the same
Mhm.
challenges with seasonings in the Thanksgiving meal that black and white have?
No, not at all. You know what? They could though, because the Hispanics, they bring some seasoning. They got more seasoning than black folks. I'm gonna give you that. Black folks
So,
got some seasoning, but Hispanics got way more.
and what about Asian and white? Do you think they have seasoning conversations at the house too?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, they gotta slow down on the garlic. Please relax.
So,
Now let me
so I'm
tell
gonna
you
give you
something. Yeah.
a true story. I'm not gonna name names, but we all know
Mhm.
this, right? Like a lot of times when we talk about the cookout, and it's oh well, if so and so brought the potato salad, we can't eat it. I'm gonna break this myth right now. There are people in my own family that if they bring the potato salad, ain't nobody eating.
Ain't nobody touching. That's one thing people don't talk about. There's black people on the no-fly zone list of eating their food.
Yes,
That goes without saying. Yeah, absolutely.
but the one dish that I can say I'm gonna get myself in trouble that I usually don't eat outside of culture
Mhm.
is mac and cheese. Why? Why is that, Rudy? Like I don't I'm picky on my mac and cheese, man.
As you should be, my friend. Let me tell you something about mac and cheese. Mac and cheese is like it's a relationship. It's your mama, it's your daddy, then there's mac and cheese, and then there's your sibling. Like mac and cheese is a part of your DNA if you're an African American, and it has to be. You ever had somebody make like? Let me give you a prime example. You and I, we eat at restaurants now that we go out for meetings, or you want to go out for a fine dining experience. We'll tolerate mac and cheese at a restaurant because we like, okay, this is how they make it. It's macaroni noodles with some cheese with some crumpled up bacon in it or something. We'll do that.
Yeah,
But we
and you
know
don't have expectation, but you're
no.
surprised when it's great though. Like, right? It's one of those things like you'll eat it, not gonna say anything, but you get some good mac and cheese out. It's like, wait, who in the back? Who is in the back?
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. But in the African American household, somebody's making that mac and cheese with the brown top. It gotta have a brown top, gotta be crusty on the sides, and it almost gotta be it can't be watery. It gotta have this consistency of like this cookie. It sounds very, very unconventional, but it has a little gooky sound to it. It has to have it's a whole project. It's a
And
situation.
usually it's the star of the dish. Even though it's a side dish, it's actually the star of the plate in my household
No,
anyway.
and don't let the vegans up in there because that is the main dish. Add some vegan cheese or whatever. Them fake vegans that be eating cheese.
Yeah. 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 So back to these stats and numbers, right? So 1 out of every 5 marriage today is
Mm,
interracial. 1 out of every 5 is
wow,
interracial.
that's a lot.
It is. It is. Over 11 million Americans are married to someone from a different race.
Mm,
11
man.
Americans.
Now
So
they don't tell you this one, Mick. About 3 million of that 11 million don't know that they partners from another race. they, they, they passing that brother passing for white. He just real
so
light skin.
yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you this. United States, where do you think the highest region of interracial marriage is?
Mm,
Just
I'll
region. You don't
totally.
got to go specific with the states.
It's going to be in the southeast. Easy.
Wrong.
What
The western region is the highest.
on the west coast?
The western region is the highest.
Okay, you know why? You know why you're right with that? Because if it goes back to the numbers, see, I'm still thinking in the primitive, like,
42, 42 and 15.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they
Yeah.
all on the
Texas
west.
over.
Yeah,
Texas
yeah,
over. Where do you
totally.
think the lowest is?
It's probably going to be the northeast.
The Midwest.
Wow,
The Midwest. So that
I can
means
see
if
that.
you're in like Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, Michigan, all that Midwest, That's the lowest.
Wow.
Rudy, you do comedy shows up there. I
I
want you
do
to think
comedy.
back. You ever felt uncomfortable now?
No, you know what? But I have seen I haven't seen a lot of mixed race, couples, but there are places in this, like you said, on yeah, you know what? No, I haven't recalled any mixed couples going up in the Illinois, especially Iowa area. Yeah, none of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Yeah, man.
that's
You
tough.
know, but
That's,
but it gets a pass because you got Chicago and Detroit right there. So,
but from what
and
I
that's where
understand,
Rudy usually hangs out anyway.
well, I heard Chicago's really segregated too. I heard
Yeah.
that's one of the places that's more segregated than any major city in America. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know what's up with that.
Uh,
So let's talk.
so
Let's talk about the elephant in the room real quick, though. You talked about being an expert. Let's put you on the hot seat because you are in fact in an interracial relationship, marriage.
marriage. Don't say
How
relationship.
long?
I'll get in trouble.
Yeah. I'll get in trouble because your wife and I are really good friends at this point. I don't want to mess that up.
Yes, sir.
But no,
Yes, sir.
you've been with your wife. How many years have you been married?
2.5.
Wow. Okay, so it's fairly new.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how is that? Because were you married before? Because we never
This
dug
is
into
this
that.
is my second wife. Yep.
Okay. So was your first wife African
I'm in the
American
culture,
or
bro. Yeah. Yeah. First
okay,
first wife also white.
okay. You keeping it uniform.
I'm consistent. I'm consistent.
Yeah, yeah. So so when you talk about being an expert, and we laugh and we joke on the show, but
Yeah.
honestly and truthfully, you know, what are some of the because there are some people looking from the bleacher seats, like
Yeah.
up in the stands, like, hey, I have some relationships that I want to probably turn into something more lifelong and make the jump, but there are some obstacles, some fear. So, what are some of the things like, you said we're going to talk about the good, the bad. Let's talk about some of the good stuff first. Like, I mean, people are people. You got a good person, of course, that probably goes to a lot of the good. But what are some of the challenges maybe that you faced, if any, having an interracial marriage?
So you know what's funny or sad or however you want to look at it. When people think of the public view of interracial dating, we'll just start there, right? Like going out in public, going to restaurants, going to comedy shows, going to games, whatever it is publicly. That usually isn't where the eyeballs are, right? You
Mm,
know where the eyeballs start?
where?
Family. Family.
Where?
It's not
Really?
strangers, it's family, and I'm not even saying it from my perspective on my side at all, because I'd also say in my family, for the most part, we're gurus in this subject too. Take that how you want to, but but
I get it.
but you get a lot of eyeballs and conversations and talk from family, right? Like when strangers say something, I don't ever have to see them again. I don't even know their name. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody could walk up and give me a glance, and strangers, I don't care. But when it's family, man, it's different. And I'd say family on the spouse side, right? Where maybe it's not as accepted as it is on one side. Like that's the biggest challenge when you don't know how other people that are now going to be family feel. Um, and when you talk about a 2.5 year marriage, you don't know the history of everybody, right? Like you got siblings and parents that have been set in their ways for 50, 60, 70, maybe even 80 years. And you don't know. I mean, social media didn't exist forever. You know what I mean? Like I could look
Yeah.
up and see, oh, this person said this word 8 years ago on Twitter. Ha ha ha. Social media didn't exist in the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, bro. So I don't know what some of those preconceived feelings might be or even existing feelings. So that's the biggest challenge, is trying to understand the complexity of family and how people not just feel but also think. And are people going to accept and evolve the way that you have or the way that you are?
Mm. Yeah, that's interesting because like you said, like you would think someone who is in love with you, and a lot of the love that they know how to, exhibit is based upon how they were raised. You know what I mean? So if someone is in love with you from another race, obviously they were taught to kind of be open to everyone and to love who
Yeah,
you love. You know what I mean? So when you get
yeah,
involved with a person like that and you get in a situation where, like you said, it's stairs and there's uncomfortable situations with family members, how do you deal with that? Like, how does that, because now your partner is torn between choosing, of course, my husband, who I love dearly, and then my family members who make my husband feel uncomfortable, and myself as well.
yeah. I think for me, it's helped me understand something we talked about in episode 1. Family doesn't mean blood in every
Mm,
sense, and so for me, it's drawing that line of what family means to me,
mm,
regardless of what blood says. To me, family is that bigger circle. It's almost like that community, and so that's what we start to associate with. So, does it mean that you have to eliminate people out of family? We talked about eliminating people out of circles, right? So
mhm,
it's almost the same thing. It's like, okay, I know by blood supposed to be there, and I'll never take blood out of the equation, but we don't have to act like family. We don't have to have everybody over at the cookout. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to have everybody over at Thanksgiving. Um, and those who are, that's family. And that's
mm.
how we define it. So, as a grown adult now, what I've realized, Rudy, is I don't put myself in uncomfortable slash tense situations. I can get uncomfortable when I'm trying to learn something, when I'm personally trying to grow, right? Like, I want to be uncomfortable in that sense. I don't want to be uncomfortable around human beings, though. And so I don't put
Mm.
myself in those situations anymore.
Yeah, and how is that? Because, honestly, does that make you and your partner a lot closer? Because, that's you can go from loving a cousin or a sibling, and now all of a sudden the person that you've chose to spend the rest of your life with, they have an issue with them for reasons that are very uncomfortable in as far as society is concerned. And so
Yeah.
how do does that make you closer, or does that maybe sometimes build a wedge because like I said, there's a love on both ends and you have to decide which one you want.
Yeah. So here's how I'm gonna answer that. I'm gonna say it makes you closer, yes, but here's how it makes you closer. You got to start having those conversations early. Meaning, even from a friendship perspective, like my close friends, we talk about race, right?
Mm,
My close friends, we talk about everything because that lets us know viewpoints, that lets us know feelings, that lets us know, hey, when there's a real situation, how are you going to respond? And I want to know that. And so, from a spouse standpoint, from a dating standpoint, we have those conversations. Um, we ask pointed questions, right? Like, there's two things that I used to ask as an adult when I was dating. What's your credit score? You got any racists in your family? Right? Like, I want to know those two things. And we're gonna talk about it because that's really important, right? Like, and I want you to ask me those things too, because I don't want people to assume that there's not racists from all races. You know what I mean? And like racism isn't a black thing, a white thing, like it's a all type thing. And so I think for everybody that's watching this, listening, have those conversations and don't be afraid to have them, right? I mean, again, me and all my friends, we talk about race, we joke about race because that's how people connect and get better, right? You don't grow when you don't know. And by
yeah.
communicating, you start to know.
No, and I'm glad and I appreciate you for not asking me about my credit score before joining the show.
Hey, we were not
I
trying to date each other, bro. We
I'm
were not
just
dating, so I don't need to know that.
but we're still gonna be partners in a huge way coming soon. So you might want to know because I'm like, yeah, can you co-sign for me, Mick? But
Yeah.
no, I honestly feel the way you feel with the friends, especially opening up that dialogue, even with male friends, like just checking the temperature with your white
Yeah.
friends, having jokes that kind of, and me as a comic, I live in a world that it's over exaggerated in the sense where like that's all we do. Like, I mean, I'll put him on blast. Like Bill Burr and I, we go back and forth about the black and white stuff. Like we laugh and joke and see the funny in everything. But you also learn a lot from other people, from other, cultures and type of friends you have.
Mhm.
But even me myself, if somebody, I have friends who are Trump supporters.
Yep.
And it's okay with me because I have a different sense of people's political ideals. Like, I know that's just your opinion. It doesn't make you a
Mhm.
racist. It doesn't make you anything that is threatening to me. That's just something that we probably shouldn't kind of cross the lines. They tell you don't talk about politics anyway, but it just shows me like you like this and I like that. That's it.
Right. Right.
It's like liking different sports teams. I don't, that's it.
Yep. Yep. Totally agree. Totally agree. So, Rudy, with these facts, like I think there's also a bigger elephant in the room um that we in America also need to understand too. So we talked about, one in every 5 marriages now is an interracial marriage. That also means that we have more multiracial human beings in the United States now in America, right? Um, and at some point, and I don't have the stats and I don't know the number, but I'm going to look it up and I'll find out and we'll talk about it, or we'll drop some wisdom in some of the comments and chats that we have. But that means at some point there's going to be more biracial, multiracial people than there are singular race people in the United
Yeah.
States, right? Like, and I'm not even saying there's going to be more mixed race than whites, more mixed race than blacks, more mixed race than is like. I'm just saying overall, big picture, there's going to be more mixed or biracial, multiracial human beings on in the United States than there are
Yes.
single race people.
Yes.
And to me, that's an important thing to understand because to me, that means that we've got to teach better in the educational systems. Um, when we talk about us growing up, right? Like we had U.S. history, and then a lot of U.S. history, depending on where you lived, was the Civil War, right? Well, now we've got to broaden that scope to learn about other races, other ethnicities, other cultures. And to me,
Yeah.
that has to start at a much younger age when you have people that are multi-race, because if not, you're going to force people to learn things on their own, and that's always dangerous.
Always dangerous. And sometimes, and I'm sure this has happened to you because you're a student of everything you put your it's like this. I learned more about history after 45 and I'm 52. You know what I mean? Some of the things that were told to me and taught to me in Catholic school and in, high school and stuff like that, totally fraudulent or just not the whole story. And
Yeah.
so it's very important to teach, these new kids coming up the culture and their backgrounds and stuff like that. I had a joke one time. I said white women have done more single-handedly to stop racism because all of these light-skinned babies running around here with this 80-year-old man, 80-year-old white man who hated black people in the mall. He loved that little chocolate baby though. He ain't no racist no more.
Hilarious.
Shout
Hilarious.
out
Yes,
to
sir.
Karen. Shout out to the Karens making these little brown babies. But yeah, I love the fact that it's going in that way,
Yep.
because that's the way the world was intended to be, actually.
Agree. Totally agree, man. Totally agree. So from your perspective, right? Like you're out in the US a lot. I mean, and you're out internationally a lot. And we drop United States numbers. What do you see in other countries, right? Like what do you see in Europe? What are you seeing when you're touring Africa? Like what do you see from a mixed race perspective in other countries?
So in the UK, I see it a lot more fluid, and I feel like there's still racism in other countries, in every country, unfortunately. But I feel like
Yeah.
the outpouring and the flow of interracial relationships in other countries, I think it just flows a little easier. I see a lot of especially like French and Greek Africans dating other
Mhm.
cultures because of course there's not many other races in those countries. Like here, you have everything. You're
Yeah.
African American male. In America, I mean, Indian, Asian, Hispanic, you can have anything. But if you're in France, there's only French women. And, in the UK, there's a lot of, Anglo-Saxon, whatever you want to call it, Italy, so forth and so on. So what I've
Mhm.
seen is I've seen a lot of like, and when you get out of the United States, of course, a lot of the gentlemen who are of melanin complexion, they're from Africa. So yeah, there's a lot of African guys dating whoever out there. Ain't too many African dudes in China, but they're out there in Japan as well. I've been there too. But yeah, it's a lot of African guys getting with the chicks overseas.
There it is. There it is. All right, we're going to address another elephant. So we talked about interracial couples, interracial datings. I threw out some stats, right? 42, 15, 10. We're going to go in the cultures though. Who do you think in the cultures, from a male female perspective, are the ones that have a higher percentage of actually interracially dating or marrying? So I'll start like this. So when we say Hispanics, right?
Uh-huh.
Um and we say 42% of the interracial marriages are Hispanic and white. If we go to Hispanics, who do you think, male or female, is
Mm,
actually interracially dating more or marrying more?
I'm gonna tell you, it's the female. It
Wrong.
is the female. What?
Wrong.
Really?
Yeah. Wrong.
Okay.
Wrong.
I'm just going from people I know. I know like six.
I, I assume the
Like,
same thing, man. I assume the same thing. I assume
wow.
the same thing. All right. White, Caucasian, who's interracially marrying, dating more, male or female?
Now that seemingly could be easy, but it may not be. I'm thinking it's the white woman.
You were correct.
Yeah, because they date Asian dudes. I've seen them with Spanish dudes, black dudes, Indian cats. I've
Which
seen them with everybody.
which would make sense, right? So if you think about it,
Yeah.
if white women are dating more outside of their race, that means they're dating men, which is why Hispanic men would have a higher rate. And so then I'm going to ask you from an Asian perspective, what do you think?
Mhm. I'm gonna be honest with you. No disrespect to the Asian brothers, but it's the Asian women that have more relationships. Yeah, they looking for a home.
What if I told you that's my 30 for 30 voice? What if I told you you're incorrect again?
No way.
Culture,
This is
man. Like I think uh not I think I know. I have Asian buddies. One of my very best friends. Shout out to Daniel Song and his beautiful family, and my sister-in-law Christina Song out there. Um, Culturally, Asian women are culture followers. So
mm,
it's one of those things where like, hey, we we were raised to do it this way, and they're not. So it's just the men. It's a closer percentage, but men do.
it's close, yeah, because I was right there on the line. Because I'm like, what? My numbers. Let me get my paperwork out.
All right. Now I'm gonna hit you home
Yeah, yeah. Let's
in
get
the
it.
black
Let's get it.
household, in the
I
black
know this one.
culture.
I know this one. I know this one.
Rudy said, if
I
I'm an expert at one thing, it's this topic right here. It's
know
this
this.
one. What you got?
So listen, it's the African American male, and by far more than the
Ooh,
woman.
by far. You
By
sure?
far.
By you're ready
If
to go
if
on record and say by far. We're recording this one. You sure?
yes, I'm willing to go on record, and if I'm wrong, we need a recount because what I've
No,
seen,
it's not an election. We're not talking politics.
what I see, brothers is out in the streets, man.
So I'm gonna say Rudy Rush is correct. And Rudy Rush is
Yes,
correct on both fronts. It is by far. It is by far.
and let me
It
say
is
this,
like
Mick.
4.5, 5-1. Yeah.
Yes. And let me say this is the reason. I think African American women, whether they were taught to or not, much like the Asian women, like you talked about, they're more coached, they're more streamlined like that. They're closer to dealing with their own. Black women are very they're not they don't seem to me like they're attracted to other races as others are willing to go off and get with someone else. Black women love black guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's straight up. But I'm gonna say this, Mick, and I know, don't feel guilty. I'll take the heat, you know what I'm saying? But black men are actually the most sought after man out of it. Do you got the numbers for that?
I don't.
Because I feel like yeah, I've seen a brother with everything, and I'm not talking about no players. I'm talking about marriage, relationship, children. I've seen black men with every culture. I haven't seen every culture with other cultures. You know what I mean? Like black guys, I've seen with Indian, I've seen them with Asian, Hispanic, and I have not seen any. And as far as the desire for that, black men are very sought after.
So I'm glad you said that. I didn't know you were going to say that. And I think I know where this may stem from. But and I want you to think about it, right? Because we just talked about how in the 1950s, early 60s, 4% of society accepted, not
Mm-hmm.
were, accepted it, right?
Yes.
Now, according to numbers, more than 90% accept it, whether they do it or not. That just means that they accept it. They're okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what started happening in the late 60s, the early 70s, and obviously now it's everywhere we see?
What's that?
Sports on TV. And do you know
Oh,
what started to evolve and change in sports?
what's that?
We started playing sports and being on TV, and I think that became, and it's not bad. By no stretch of imagination is bad. That's what we
No.
saw, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we started wanting to do, right? Like it was like, oh, I want to be like Mike. There was a big commercial on being like Mike for generations and decades, right? Like
Oh yeah. Oh
we
yeah.
we the folks that get the advertising, the
Mm.
sponsorship dollars.
Mhm.
It started with athletes. Like, yeah, now you get rappers, you get entertainers that get but the real sponsor dollars, like you want Gatorade to sell, get athlete,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You
You
better.
want
Yeah.
Doritos
Yeah.
to sell, you want Subway to sell,
Yeah.
get an athlete.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the comment that you made is validated.
I didn't think about it that way, but when you look at it like that, and even when it trickles down in entertainment, period, when you go from you know sports celebrities, then you have music and comedy and acting and things like that, you know. But to concentrate on one thing, that sports is definitely something because that's the biggest money maker and the biggest exposure with Mike and Tiger
Super Bowl is
Woods and all
always going
that.
to be the biggest event we ever
Yeah.
see every year. Every year. No,
I
not
didn't
even a
I
close
didn't think
second.
about I just thought because I was fine. I'm like, I'm black, I'm fine. Everybody want me. But no,
Those were the
it's
thoughts and comments and mental disparities of Rudy Rush and Rudy Rush only. Rudy in his mind thinks that he is fine. Um, but that's him. So
no, no.
one of the most popular segments of episode one, Rudy, was your top five.
Ah, was it?
It was your top five. So the segment has to continue apparently because it was popular and people wanted to see it. They want to hear it. Bunch of social clips about it. Um, in today's top five, it's
Yes.
still I don't have Once Upon a Coconut here, but Once Upon a Coconut is still is doing this one in conjunction with Ultralight, the best light for creators out there. But Rudy, your
Yes,
top
sir.
five today. What you got?
Okay. So, I was thinking about it. I had to change up a little bit because the topic really went in a different direction today. I don't like what you did with the numbers. So kudos to you, brother. I really like you kind of threw a little curveball and what I was thinking overnight and past days about our preparation. I was like, yeah, we're gonna talk about this and that. But those numbers really jumped out at me. And so it made me change my list, bro. All right.
Okay,
My top five today is Rudy's top five ways to have a successful interracial relationship.
let's go.
All right. Number one, don't serve your partner's favorite dishes until asked. You know what I mean? If you're dating a black guy, ladies, and you're not black yourself, don't unless I ask you to make some fried chicken, unless I ask for something else like some mac and cheese or collard green, don't take it upon yourself to serve me that because I may not be eating that. I may not eat fried foods. Don't assume. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for other people, if you're dating someone else, don't be dipping into the curry unless you are requested to. Stay in your
Got it.
lane. That's me. That's your partner's with you for other reasons than your food. All right, number 2. This is for everybody. Learn each other's celebrities. Yeah, I said learn their celebrities, man. I know, being black, I feel like I know everybody's celebrities. When you black, Conway Twitty over those, remember those late night infomercials?
Yeah.
Hello, darling.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. It's been
Sure.
I know Conway Twitty. I know all the white celebrities, but white people, y'all got to help me out, man. Y'all don't know who Luther Vandross is? You bugging. You wilding. Yo, you crazy. I dated a girl one time, man. She ain't know who Luther Vandross was. Things got real edgy. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You ask them a simple question like, who's the most popular black heavyweight of all time? And they'll say something like Lizzo. I'm like, what? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
These
Yeah.
Mick has nothing to do with this list, by the way. Send all of the requests.
This is Rudy Rush's top 5, ladies and gentlemen. Don't at me, at Rudy. Thank you.
Now, this is for everybody. You can't mix all your friends. You got to figure it out. You got to know who's for who. So basically, if you're from one side of the street and your partner's from another, this is an interracial relationship. You got to know what friends you could bring around the other friends. Sometimes it's going to be 60-40, sometimes 20-80. You know what I'm saying? Because I got some friends, they can't even be around other black people, let alone somebody from somebody else's culture. So make sure you mix those friends right. Yeah. Don't bring around everybody. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Black people, this is for us. This is a way you can be very successful in your relationship. And Mick, I think you might have this covered. Black people, we gotta be easy on our celebration. And I know Black pride is a thing, you know what I mean? But if you are dating somebody from another culture and something major happens that's on the black scale that, may not be popular in other cultures or whatever, we win one, we get one for the team. You got to be easy with the celebration. We are very bad celebrators as Black people. I'm going to put that out there.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders to Barack Obama, I could bring up some tape where we go overboard in the celebratory. OJ, all that. Don't have me go there.
Shout out Prime, man. Love you, bro. Love you, Prime.
Yeah, I love Prime, man. He used to text me back, bro. You making some money now. A little tight for a minute. Anyway, and last but not least, white people, listen. If you can, this is for the white people only. Pull back on the raisins, on everything. Just put the raisins in the back cupboard. Walk your mate through it. Don't just be throwing them in the potato salad and throwing it inside the casserole. Don't be surprising me because some of us have PTSD. I'm from the hood. I'm thinking it's roaches in.
Which is why a lot of people don't eat raisins, man, because it's like it looked like, yeah, you're right. Right.
Listen, I think my mother was buying Raisin Bran because she was like, y'all figure it out because I ain't buying another box of cereal. We was living produce. I was like, no, you can have that daggone Raisin Bran if you want to. But yo,
So you said you looked at the box like this box said cornflakes. Why does it look like Raisin Bran?
It's like, what is this in the box? So those are the top 5 ways you can have a successful interracial relationship. Thank you.
I love it, man.
Yeah, man.
I actually have no issue with any of that.
Yeah,
no
some things you
all.
gotta, listen, and let me just reiterate for Black people with the celebrations, it's almost like them asking, and they did it for us. At graduations and ceremonies, they'd be like, if you can, please wait till the end to clap. Black people would be like, wait, so Poogie's the first person to graduate from junior high school. You crazy?
Yes, sir. Which, that's something we didn't talk about. But we're gonna talk about it for 2 seconds before I get to the Mount Rushmore topic today. One of the things that we also have to do is let people know nicknames.
Oh my
because
gosh.
I can tell you from personal experience, right? I have a huge family. And we will talk about the same person and call them 2 or 3 different names and confuse the hell out of everybody in the room, bro. Like my cousin, shout out to my cousin Lamont, but his professional name is Corey, and we will call him Lamont because that's what he was growing up. And then sometimes he's just Mun. You know what I'm saying? And like my wife will be like, "Where are they at?" And I'm like, "He is right there." And she's like, "Oh, got it." And then I got shout out to my cousin Randy. Growing up, he was Bubba, and she's like, "Who is Bubba?" And I'm like, "Randy."
Okay.
Well, why don't you just call him Randy? Like, hey, he's a junior, and you can't say Randy, and so he was Bubba. Like, we got
Well,
to explain all the nicknames,
got
family,
to,
all
got
of them.
to. But help me out with this one real quick, Mick. What about the black people who have a name that's a regular name? That's a nickname. It ain't on their birth certificate, like you said, Lamont. Like that ain't his name. Why we calling him Lamont? Because the grandma was like, he looked like Lamont from the 1950s, and I just remember Lamont. He looked like him. Why we got a name like that? It's not even a
Hey,
Bubba or a Pookie. Lamont. That ain't even his name.
yeah, yeah, it's out there like that, man. Like we gotta. I think the trend has stopped, but I don't know. I don't
We
know.
got to
Like
do
I
that. We
just
got to.
made sure with my kids, like what I call you is what I call you. That's what's on your birth certificate. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it is.
That's
That's
it.
what it is. All right. So the Mount Rushmore today,
Yeah.
the Mount Rushmore of interracial couples.
That's nice.
The
That
Mount
is
Rushmore
right.
of interracial couples.
All right. I didn't think about that one. You got that one. I was wondering where you was
Yep.
gonna go.
Real or fiction. And there's a lot to choose from. And I don't want everybody atting me because people aren't on the list, but it's the Mount Rushmore. It doesn't mean if you ain't on the list that it's bad. It's just, again,
Yeah.
we can only choose four. All right. So the first one I think is really important and people don't know who it is. And I want the producers to make sure they show images right here. Richard and Mildred Loving.
Oh,
Richard and Mildred Loving. Do you know who they were, Rudy? You don't
now,
know, so let me tell
no,
you.
no, no. Okay, tell me.
You do know who they were.
I have an idea, but when you tell me, I'm gonna double down on it and say, yeah, I heard about that.
Richard and Mildred Loving made interracial marriage legal. They were the
That's it.
first legally approved interracially married couple.
They gotta be first on the list.
They're on
They
the Mount
gotta
Rushmore.
gotta be up there.
They're on the Mount Rushmore.
Nice one.
Number two on the list. This is going to shock some people because I don't think people know this one.
Okay.
Alice Walker and Mel Leventhal. You know who Alice Walker is?
No.
Oh, you know who Alice Walker is.
Is that
Color
Madam CJ?
Purple. The Color
Oh,
Purple. Seeley. You know
yes.
Alice Walker.
That's Whoopi
Author.
Goldberg.
Great writer.
Wow.
She and her husband, Mel Leventhal, were the first interracial marriage in Mississippi post 1967.
Jeez.
Alice Walker, Color Purple.
Wow.
Number two. All right. This is where it gets tough. This is where it gets tough because we're talking about the Mount Rushmore, and some people are going to get left off. Uh, you ready? Because we talked about these numbers earlier, and it would be disrespectful for me to not represent the 42%. You ready for this one?
I'm ready.
Ricky, Ricardo, and Lucy.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ricky,
That's a
Ricardo, and Lucy.
And that actually goes to, earlier in the show when you talked about the 42%.
That's
Desi
love.
Arnaz was definitely okay. Okay, Mick, I see what you're doing. I see you, Playboy.
Hey, I'm out here. I'm out here. And now fourth on the, and again, it's not in any order. It's just the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
had a lot to choose from, man. Or I could
Oh,
have
yeah.
chose like Sammy Davis and his wife. You brought up Jack Johnson, boxer. I could have brought him up because he was boxing and
He was
saying I'm
wild.
the man and I'm gonna go marry this woman over here that came to see me. You can't do nothing about it because I'm the heavyweight champion. I could have
Little do
gone
you
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. That would have been easy. I could have
uh,
gone Tom and Helen. Willis off the Jeffersons.
Nice. That would have been a good one.
But I got to go with Power, man. And I gotta break some stigmas here because we talked about in our culture 5 to 1 is the black male that's gonna marry. My number
Mhm.
4 on the Mount Rushmore is Serena Williams and her husband Alexis.
Wow. Okay. That's a good one.
Power.
That's a good one.
So
Yeah.
again, to
Yeah.
recap, Richard and Mildred Loving. I love saying Mildred's name. Richard and Mildred Loving, Alice Walker, Mel Leventhal, Ricky Ricardo and Lucy,
Uh,
Serena and Alexis.
wow.
Serena and
Yeah,
Alexis.
that's a good one. And her husband, Serena's husband, was not trying to hear that with Stephen A. Smith. He defended his woman, so he gets an invite to the cookout.
Oh, he should be on this show anyway because he's one of my
Yeah.
favorite people in the world. So
Oh,
absolutely.
that's
So
what's up.
that's
It's
my
good
Mount
deal.
Rushmore of
Nice.
interracial couples.
Good job. Good job. Good job. But Dennis Rodman and Carmen Electra, they was on there too.
Yeah, last Mount Rushmore, you said, hey, there was one that I missed, 1st and 15th. I like that one. What's
Oh,
one that should be on the list?
now you mentioned Jack Johnson, but Diddy is going to jail just because they couldn't get Jack.
This episode has just ended. Oh.
No, listen, shout out to all the interracial couples. You know why? Because, when you go to the true definition of love, and this is for everybody who's in any relationship, but interracial in this day and age, the way sometimes it's scrutinized and stuff like that, you really got to look at your partner and be like, you really love me, because you're sacrificing some things that, people take for granted each and every day, like, the air you breathe. I can walk out with a black woman and never feel any uncomfortableness. But if I had a white woman, some places we go, or Asian or anything, you'll get looks, you'll get stares, and you'll feel uncomfortable. And sometimes that's the definition of why two people don't make it. So
Yeah.
shout out to everybody who sticks it out and loves each other and doesn't care about what people think.
Hey, and shout out to my family. We might do a recap episode of this one day. And I bring some of the other experts in my family in, and we'll just talk about it. We'll let Rudy facilitate this this conversation. How about that? That's what we'll do. And I want everybody to know, if you like this show, make sure you are doing your thing. But just one last message for the people.
Yes.
I'm gonna look everybody in the eye. We're gonna zoom in a little bit. Love didn't change America. People did. One relationship at a time. So keep loving, but keep evolving as humans, because America needs you more than you ever know. I'm Mick Hunt with my illustrious, hilarious, but serious co-host, Rudy Rush.
That's the power and the punchline. If this episode hit, do me a favor, rate it, review it, subscribe. That's how we keep these conversations coming. Power moves the room. The punchline makes it stick. I'm Rudy Rush. See you next time.